Dear friends, welcome to another episode in the fantastic military world. In this video, we will discuss a debate that has been gaining momentum in some European countries. With Russia drawing closer and the United States pulling away, the European continent may have no other option but to arm itself with nuclear weapons. On February 10th, in a speech in South Carolina, former president and current Republican candidate for the presidential race, Donald Trump, stated that if any NATO member does not pay, he will not protect that country from Russian aggression. Going even further, Trump stated that he will encourage Vladimir Putin to do whatever he wants with that country. This statement by Trump indicates that if elected in 2024, the existence of NATO as a military alliance may be at risk. The purpose of any military alliance is to protect militarily weaker countries by uniting armed forces of small and medium sizes, allowing the bloc as a whole to confront militarily stronger and more powerful enemies. This was the objective behind the creation of NATO in 1949. At that time, as Stalin had more soldiers and armored vehicles than all European nations combined, the only way for Europe to prevent a Soviet invasion was through a military alliance that also involved the United States. NATO was formed that year with a composition of 10 European countries plus the United States and Canada. Throughout the difficult years of the Cold War, NATO fulfilled its role, with the Soviets not daring to attack any member of the alliance. But now, with Trump signaling that he will not protect some member countries and even encouraging Putin to attack them, and with Putin revealing his true face and expansionist intentions, waging a war with the aim of annexing territories to the already vast and gigantic Russia, Europe finds itself at a serious crossroads in terms of defense. As I have mentioned in several other videos on this channel, nuclear weapons are the best and most efficient deterrent weapons in the world. When a country possesses these weapons in its arsenal, its adversaries know that if they attack with nuclear weapons or launch a devastating conventional attack that jeopardizes its existence, the attacked country will use its nuclear weapons as a last defensive resort. In other words, nuclear weapons act as a kind of trump card, a card that can be invoked and played on the table by an attacked country if the opponent is on the verge of winning. In the case of Europe, although only the United Kingdom and France possess nuclear weapons, all member states are covered by NATO's nuclear umbrella, which obviously includes the nearly 6,000 warheads of the United States. But if Trump is elected and effectively escalates his confrontation with NATO and orders the United States to withdraw from the alliance as a whole could simply collapse, and with it, the European nuclear umbrella of the United Kingdom and France could also collapse. With the United States withdrawal and the weakening, or even the end of NATO, Putin would have a free path to attack the militarily weaker countries in the bloc, especially the 3 Baltic countries. Nations that were once part of the Soviet Empire, dominated and controlled by Moscow between 1940 and 1991. In this extreme scenario, nothing could prevent Russia from advancing into some of those countries except for nuclear weapons. For Europe, the only way to effectively deter Putin from attacking would be through a kind of Europeanization of nuclear weapons, with the United Kingdom and France handing over control of their nuclear weapons to a European control corps within the framework of a kind of joint staff of the increasingly referred European army. This plan, dubbed by some as Eurobomb, would serve to maintain a nuclear umbrella across Europe, even in the event of the United States withdrawal and the weakening or even the end of NATO. But alongside this discussion of joint defense, voices are being raised in some countries calling for their own atomic bombs, as is the case with Germany, Poland, and even Italy. Despite Germany and Italy having deactivated their nuclear reactors, and Poland operating only a small unit, in theory, these countries, especially Germany and Italy, would have sufficient technology to develop nuclear weapons relatively quickly. But it would be an extreme solution, and would only have some popular support if the worst-case scenario were to materialize, which would be Donald Trump withdrawing the United States from NATO and leading to the weakening and consequent disintegration of the alliance, and with Putin taking advantage of this to pressure and eventually attack the more peripheral members, such as the Baltic countries and Finland. In this hypothetical scenario, in addition to the Europeanization of British and French nuclear weapons, the only way to effectively halt Russia's advance would be through a nuclear race. That would result, at least initially, in at least 3 new nuclear powers on the planet. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe and activate the notification bell to not miss any news, criticisms, ideas, or suggestions. You can leave them in the comments.